This is the ultimate guide to hot routes in Madden 23. What's going on YouTube? Pro Madden player T Davis is back here, and today we're going to break down what every single hot route in the game does, when you should throw it, when you should add it in, when you should make that hot route to make your offensive play even better. Hot routes are such a critical part of improving as Madden players. You always want to add in maybe 1 or 2 hot routes to every single play. Sometimes you can even get up to 3 or 4 hot routes in a play. They can make your offense just so much better, more reliable, and more dominant. You know, if you guys watch some of the advanced pro Madden players like myself out there, we make a lot of adjustments pre-snap, and the hot routes are a big part of it. You know, some beginners out there never make any hot routes. So in this video, that's going to teach you guys how to incorporate them, what you should be looking for, and when you should add them in. If you want more content like this, make sure you are subscribed here to the channel on YouTube. Hit this video with a like, comment down below any questions you may have about any of these hot routes we're going to talk about today. Like I said, we're going to go over every single hot route in the game. If you have any questions about it at all, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to check out all my ebooks and my coaching sessions down the link in the description below if you guys want to improve as Madden players, and also check out the MaddenAcademy.com. Today's video is sponsored by the MaddenAcademy.com. Check out the link in the description below and use code TDavis to sign up for the best Madden courses and tips available. Fill out a free evaluation and take your Madden game to the next level today. Alright guys, so here we go. We're just going to pick any playbook. It doesn't really matter. We're in the Packers playbook. We're just going to come out in a gun bunch formation first, and we're going to go over every single hot route in the game. So let's just come out in a basic play. We'll just come out in... We'll literally just come out in spacing switches. It doesn't matter what play we're going to do. We'll do random coverages, alright? So the first hot route we'll take a look at is the out route, right? So to do an out route, obviously you're going to press Y to get into your hot routes, then the receiver icon. So a couple different ways we can look at this. First, we'll just look at Sammy Watkins, the solo receiver on the outside, right? So the out route. So the first thing we want to do is just a basic, simple out route. Now the best times to use these, I like, are versus like a backed off zone or versus even man coverage, right? So you see the defender backed off. Now I can't really tell. I think this is man coverage, so it's probably not the best to do it on the solo side versus man. But what I like to do is a tight end out route a lot of times. So right, so something like this. Let's go ahead and just get them out of the way. I like the tight end out route here out of that tight end position. Kind of gets a good. You can't really bump it, and versus man coverage does a really good job to throw it to the outside. So as soon as we hike it, we're going to go Robert Tonyan here. As soon as he cuts out, you see that. You see that little instant cut he gets to the outside. So anytime you get a receiver kind of off the line, more of a tight end type position, I love throwing that quick, sharp cutting out route. You see there, he's usually matched up on a linebacker, sometimes maybe a safety, but majority of the time against a linebacker, gets about 1 to 2 steps in front of him. You want to pass lead that to the outside for a nice completion, right? So you can also, like I said, do it versus zone. So sometimes I like to motion out Lazard here, versus a zone coverage. We can have the same thing with Sammy Watkins there, throwing this out route. As soon as they hike it, it's backed off coverage. You throw it over there, easy completion. So like I said, I like it versus backed off zones and versus man coverage. Now, you can also go with the smart routed out route as well, which is really, really effective. So for example, it looks like man coverage again here. We're going to go Tonyan on a smart routed out route. So you put him on an out route first, of course. Then to smart route, you press Y, his icon, and then the RB button to smart route that route, right? So I do like this a lot versus man coverage. Now the smart routed out routes are really, really good versus man if you have a good route runner as well. Now Tonyan is not the best, but we'll see if he can still get open here versus, oh, it looks like it is zone. So sometimes though you can still highball that behind the defense. So I do like to use the LB or the L1 button and high pass those smart routed out routes. We'll do it again here, same thing. And I'm even trying to get on the left side of Sammy Watkins, a little smart routed out route. You see there, look at that space. It gets kind of behind the outside linebacker in the flat zone, as I'll show you guys in the replay here. So this is a basic cover 3, and you see the outside linebacker. He's going to have the flat area, but he's playing too shallow. Our smart routed out route, you know, when obviously you have like, I would do it when you have like 8 or more yards to go. So between like 8 and 15 yards is a really great time to do it. This is obviously only 10 yards. So he gets behind that flat defender, and he actually gets in front of that outside DB. So you get a nice little area. It's almost like a quick cutting corner route in a sense, right? That's very similar to a corner route. That's why I love these smart routed out routes this year. So you see there, you get that easy completion. I'm going to go ahead and do it to the slot receiver this time, because I actually like to do it out of a bunch slot receiver look in this situation as well. I like to run that a lot of times. Randall Cobb there, you should see him. Let's see if we can get open behind the defense. You see there he does. Gets the same thing behind the shallow defender, but in front of the deep defender. So that's for the out route. All right, guys, the next route we want to take a look at now is the in route. So to do that, you press Y, and then to the right on the left stick, and it's going to put him on either an outright or an in. If you're the running back, it's going to say outright, and that's the reason I wanted to bring that up, is because I actually like it with the running back this year. Now, I got to be honest, with the receivers and the tight ends, I don't love the in routes as much, but I do love it out of the backfield with the running back. So my favorite play to do it out of is verticals out of bunch. Go ahead and put my running back on an in route just like this. And you'll see here, the running back is usually matched up on a linebacker, so he's going to whoop man coverage on this in route. And versus zone, he's going to get underneath the zones. It makes it very difficult to defend. So let's go ahead and run it a few times here. You see there we have zone. He gets even, like that was weirdly, he got underneath the deeper zones, but got behind the flat zone. So like these in routes just get in a great area. It's hard to really explain. They just work so well this year. So let's go ahead and do it again here. This time in the zone again. You see there, he's underneath all the coverages. Easy 4-yard completion, right? I love throwing to my running back this year out of the backfield on these ins and out routes. Same thing here. Let's go to it again. This time, another thing is zone. That was cover 3. He gets underneath the hook zone and gets in between the flat defender. So we can go to him there. Let's see if we can get a man coverage. Yep, we have man coverage this time. And you see there's a tight window, but he still gets 1 or 2 steps on him out of the backfield versus man coverage. And we had Kendricks on him, who's actually a really good linebacker. This time, is it man again? Yeah, this is more separation. Look at that separation it gets on man coverage. So you can pretty much throw this versus every single coverage in the game. Now, as far as the other receivers go, I'm not huge on putting like any of the outside receivers on in routes. You can sometimes put them on an in route, and it's not as good. But I like it versus zone a little bit more. But to me, I'd rather just put them on a drag, which we're gonna get to in a second. But you can do the in route occasionally, see versus zone. Like it's just the hook zone's guarded. I'm not a huge fan of the receivers on in routes. I definitely prefer the running back in routes. All right, let's go to the curl route now. Curl route here, what I like to do is create a lot of curl flat combos. And this play is actually perfect for it because we have our running back on a little flat going to the left, and then I'm going to put Watkins on a curl. And I like this versus cover 3, sometimes man coverage, but I definitely prefer this versus cover 3. And you never see the play curl flat. That's what we're creating here. Curls do a really good job of kind of just sitting in between that zone coverage. You're able to get in there. So what I like to do is, you see how he just sits down right there like that? Because the flat defender has to go out and guard that running back. As you take a look at the replay here, watch the flat defender here. Looks like it's a Tampa 2. The flat defender has to come down and just be a little bit occupied by our flat receiver, allowing that curl route to just sit down right there for an easy completion. Let's go ahead and do it again here. Looks like we might have, nope, we got zone again. Same thing, sits down right there. I like to pass lead that a little bit to the outside, get in front of the corner for a nice completion. We'll go ahead and do the curl one more time just like this. And same thing this time, bad throw, but you saw he kind of sits down in front of that outside defender. So I like to do it as like kind of a backside thing. Like so in bunch, you want the backside receivers. It's kind of like a last resort type of thing. If your first reads aren't open, you know that you can always come back to the curl. You can pretty much do it with any receiver. I definitely prefer, the outside usually. But like, so something like this too, we have a curl flat over here on the right side. Looks like we have man coverage here. I don't know if it will work as good. Yeah, it doesn't work as good from the tight end position. Just as it's crowded in the middle of the field. I like to have the curl kind of out wide, allow more spacing for that curl to sit down in between the zones. It's a little bit tougher in the middle of the field, so I definitely prefer it on the outside. All right, guys, now let's go to the streak route. Now, I only really use the streak as like a pull route to bring the zones back, allowing, another route to get open, right? So, for example, you want to try to find, let me try to find a new player with a deep crossing route, right? Because that's the perfect example. You want a player with a deep crossing route that we can really bring back the zones with. So let's go to gun type. We'll go to slot post here, right? So I'll show you exactly. We're on like a basic cover 3, right? So you have this slot post to Sammy Watkins, right? So what I like to do is we're going to put Robert Tonyan here on a streak. The only reason is this, to pull the zones all the way back, allowing Sammy Watkins to kind of clear out the defense and get underneath the zone coverage, right? So let's go ahead and run it. You see there, we wait, and you see if I got any time there, you would see that he gets open because they clear out the defense. Let me move the hash marks over a little bit more. Let me actually try to double team and block here. All right, so it looks like this. We got that pull route from the tight end on a streak. Should allow Sammy Watkins to get open deep down the field to the right sideline. So, yeah, you see there, he pulls out that other zones. Now, we didn't do a great job pulling that zone, but he did pull the free safety back, allowing it to get open. You can do the same thing with the B receiver, just like this. Put a streak there, allowing him to pull those zones back. Now, this time he pulls the other one. That's exactly what we wanted. So the B receiver this time pulled the other zone defender, allowing the post route to get open. So let's take a look at the replay here and just watch what this streak does to this defender, right? He completely has to pick him up. The safety does as well. So we pretty much occupy 2 zone defenders, allowing our post route to get wide open. Now, this is going to work with corner routes, crossing routes, pretty much anything, of that sort. So even we'll take a look at a corner route too, right? So let's go back to bunch, and we'll do Z spot and go. We'll run this versus a cover 3 again. And this time, we're going to streak the X receiver on the left, right? So now you'll see what this X receiver does to the outside deep defender. It should allow our corner route to get open towards the sidelines. You see there, he has to just occupy him a little bit, and we're able to make that throw. So it wasn't the best. It was a little bit of a tight window, but just watch to see what this outside streak does to this defender. This defender has to worry about him just for a second, right? He turns his hips, has to do it, and then we have our corner route coming underneath him, and we can throw it in there for a completion. Now, ideally, I should have done this a little bit sooner, and we probably should have smart routed it to get a cart a little bit sharper, but still does the job there on the streak. So the only times I throw the streak is as kind of a decoy, a pull defender. I don't usually ever really throw the streak unless you have a situation where it's Tampa 2. So, for example, let's go to trips tight end. We will come out in verticals, and we will run a Tampa 2. So, and this is a little bit more of an inverted streak, but you're going to see why here is going to get in between the safeties on that streak, right? So, for example, here, just takes a look like this. See how he gets inside of the safety like that? That's the only time I'd really ever throw the streak. You can also do something like this where you streak B. Go ahead and look like this. Sometimes you can get this in between the safety as well. So, like, if I pass lead that to the inside, sometimes you can get it like that. But it's a little bit more riskier, and I only prefer it versus Tampa 2. All right, guys, let's go to the comeback route now on the outside receiver, right? So you see here, Sammy Watkins on that comeback. Now, I do like to do kind of similar to a curl route is what I like to do with this. So I like to have a pull route underneath over there on the left side. So, for example, on this play, we have a running back swing route. I'm going to put him on an out route, just add in a little bit more different flavor. But it's going to look like this, right? So you want to kind of wait to see those flat defenders come down, and then you want to pass lead that kind of. So it's pretty much the same concept as the curl route, except it goes a little bit more to the outside. So I create a lot of concepts like this. We were basically flooding that sideline, right? So you're waiting for this guy, and we could have just threw the running back. Like this flat defender dropped back a lot, so we could have really just checked it down to the running back. But he doesn't even get back on the curl flat. And the cool thing about this is, on the comeback always gets in front of the outside deep defender. So you don't have to worry about that zone coverage guarding it. He's going to play it really, really well. If you have a good receiver over there, he can beat man coverage on this comeback also. So I definitely prefer to have an elite route runner when you do run the comeback route. But even there versus zone, Sammy Watkins is not the best route runner, but still able to get behind it. Another thing I like to do is I'll have like a something like this, where I'll have like a, kind of a flood that left side. I like to have a tight end drag. I put my outside receiver on like a little in route, motion him out. So once again, we're kind of flooding that left sideline. So whether I hit the tight end drag or the comeback route depends on the read. This time they kind of dropped back a little bit, so I kind of just check it down to the drag, but it creates a nice little combo there. It's a two-man game, right? So you take a look at it here. We kind of read the defense. You see there, this guy kind of follows him, so not the best read, but I couldn't really throw to the comeback because the Tampa 2 was guarding it pretty well. So in that case, you just want to check down to the drag. But I like the drag comeback combo as like a two-man game out there. All right, guys, let's take a look at the smoke screen now. So the smoke screen I actually do like a good bit this year. The first reason is because if you get a play like PA post, for example, right, that RB route does a great job versus man coverage, but you always want good spacing. So I like to put my X receiver on a smoke screen here, allowing a little bit more space for that RB route to get open behind it. Now, I wish ideally that RB route was a little bit deeper, but in this case, it's fine. So what's going to happen here is if it's man coverage, that outside corner is going to really jump down onto Sammy Watkins, allowing RB to get open behind him. If it's zone, you have an option. You can either check it down to X on the smoke screen if the defender's playing back, And if the defender's playing up tight on him, you can wait and throw to RB behind him. So it's all about making reads. But I do like the smoke screen added in a lot in this game. So you see there, the guy's playing tight on him. We wait. We hit the out route behind him. So watch how this smoke screen manipulates this outside corner because he's in a hard flat. So we set the smoke screen. He just sits down. But this corner completely comes down with him hard. And we wait for our deeper in route to clear out behind him. And look at all that space we have now to make a beautiful throw. So that's why I love the smoke screen, because it really does a great job just kind of manipulating the defense. And then if they play back, you check it down. So let's go ahead and do the same thing again here. This time they drop back, right? So we just check it down. We pick up our 2 to 3 yards, and we keep it moving, right? It's a simple read, but I love the smoke screen added in. So if you take a look at the replay here, we put him on the smoke screen, he sits down, but now this time the corner completely drops back, right? So we can't really throw this in route, right? If we waited and threw it to him, he'd be covered. He's already got 2 linebackers on him. He's going to have him on him. So we make the simple read. We check it down. It's an easy. We're never going to turn the ball over doing that, and we still pick up 3 to 4 yards, and we keep the ball moving down the field. Now, one other way that I like to do this is with an out route out of the slot position. So I like to put my, inside slot receiver on an out route. I'll motion out B and then put him on a smoke screen, and it's a similar concept, right? We either check it down or we hit that deep out route. This time they drop back again. We check it down to the smoke screen. Obviously, didn't get a lot out of that yardage, but it's just about making the right read, right? So same thing here. Let's go ahead and do it again. It's all about reading those outside defenders. They drop back again this time. We check it down. We pick up 3 to 4 yards and get up the field. So if they were playing down hard underneath, let me see if I do it one more time. Let's see if they play hard. And it's also good versus man, too, because it's going to allow that RB receiver to get open behind in man coverage. This time they're playing hard underneath. We wait, and the corner or the outside, the out route gets out behind that flat defender. That's why I love the smoke screen. All right, guys, let's do the hitch and the flat real quick as well. The flat's going to be similar to the smoke screen. As far as flat goes, I actually prefer it on like a corner flat combo. So, for example, let's take a look at it here. We'll go to Z spot once again, as I think Z spot's one of the best plays in the game. All you really need to do is have a flat route added in with like a corner route and a streak. So the tight end flat routes are absolute money, right? So you can hike it, get it out to him quickly like that. That's even man coverage too. He's got a man on him, but he's usually on a linebacker. He's going to get it out there a little bit quicker. And you can make the right read, right? So if they're playing hard underneath, you wait, you hit the corner route. If they're dropping back, you just check it down to your tight end flat. This time, see they drop back. We just check it down for an easy completion, right? And usually you can get up the field. Maybe you have a good tight end you can truck with. Makes it a little bit easier. This time, they're backed off pretty well. Nope, they're playing hard, so we wait to the corner route. So it's kind of a decoy also because it brings down those hard flat defenders, and you can be patient and hit the corner route behind it. Same thing here. See how it brought down onto the flat there? You can wait and you hit that corner route behind it. So take a look at the replay. That's exactly the job of the flat route, right? Brings down that flat defender exactly how it's supposed to right there, and we have our corner route getting open right behind it for an easy play. Now, you can also throw in to the outside receiver. So I'll do something like this, have just a little flat. It's a great tool to add in case you want to just, have a decoy or something behind it. But same thing here. This time they don't guard it. We just get it out there quickly, right? It's a little quick completion. If they're blitzing you or they're dropping back deep into coverage, you always have that option to throw in the flat route. This time it's a decoy. We wait. We have RB coming behind it. So if it's man coverage, he's going to be onto him tight. You can wait, and you have that. You can also do something like a curl flat combo. I really like as well. So we can do something like this, tight end on the flat again, motion out that curl that we talked about earlier. And now this time we can either, it works as like a decoy for that curl to get open. This time they drop back though. So you just check it down to the flat. So you see how these hot routes added in. Like that was a play right there where it was all hot routes, right? I put the slot receiver on a slant, I put the tight end on a flat, and I put a curl to B. These are all hot routes, right? We're creating our own offense, trying to beat the defense, figure out ways that these routes can attack certain defenses. So same thing here. This time they played actually really, really good coverage right there. So we didn't have the curl or the flat option. But that's why you want to find good plays with good routes already that you can go to somewhere else on the field if those are covered. That's why you just add in those hot routes to make your plays even better. All right, let's talk about the hitch real quick. Now, I love the hitch in Madden every single year, specifically versus zone coverage. So, for example, he has to play verticals, right? We have our deep crosser, but then we add in the flat hitch combo, right? So, what the hitch does is it really, creates like a check down, right? So, if the defense drops back on like a post or a deep crosser in this case, you have that option. Just check it down to your hitch. And I really love these in the red zone as well. So you see there, they drop back, we fire it in there, pass lead that to the outside, and that's an easy like 3-4 yard completion, right, all day long. Let me go to the play mesh post actually. That's one of my favorite plays to utilize this this hitch route, right? So for example, we got the flat route already, and we have that post. Now we can also throw in RB on a hitch here, and if they don't guard B, if they do drop back and guard B, we're gonna be able to check it down to the hitch. Now if they play tight onto the hitch, if we just wait, we'll have that post coming behind it, right? So it's all about the combinations here. See how they drop back onto B? We have that easy check down to the hitch over the middle of the field. So if there is a route to run over the middle of the field, for me, it's definitely the hitch routes. Now watch this linebacker here. You're gonna see he's gonna drop back. He's going to guard B. He's basically covering B, and we probably still could hit B behind him. But you see there, he reacts super late to the hitch. We've already got the ball out, and we have an easy 4-yard completion right in the middle of the field. Now, one other way I like to utilize hitches, because they are good for great spacing on the field, right? So we'll come out. It doesn't matter what play, because remember, this is all hot routes, random defenses. Now, the thing is, it won't be as good versus man coverage. You do want this versus zone. Let's go ahead and hike it. Which one sits down? It's that hitch right there. Horrible throw from Aaron Rodgers, but you see how he just sits down in that area. If I take a look at the replay, we got 3 hitches here. This guy comes over and guards him. We have the flat defender out here guarding the smoke screen, and that allows our wide receiver on the inside, on the slot position, to sit down. Now that's why I love this in the red zone, especially if you're inside like the 5-yard line, because they do a great job just sitting down in that area. This time it's man coverage, so it won't be as good, but you can still throw it. I messed up right there, but you can still throw it as soon as they kind of turn around, right? So let me show you what I mean. You can throw it as soon as they turn around, just like this, and you get in there quickly. Now, it's a little bit more risky versus man coverage. I definitely prefer this versus zone, but still gets the job done. All right, let's talk about the whip routes, or the zig routes, as they call it. So if you hot route your X receiver here to the left on the right stick, it's going to be a zig route. So with the zig route, I don't use it as much as I used to in previous Maddens. You can use it. I like it out of the slot position a decent bit. So, for example, the tight end position is not bad to use it out of this year. So it's going to look like this. Put that tight end zig, and it gets underneath the zones pretty well. So if you have a corner route behind it, it's kind of similar to a flat. Like, I just prefer the flat route, but it kind of does the same job as the flat. You see that there's zone coverage. It kind of gets underneath the zones. So it is a pretty good tool to add in. Something that's really cool with it, if you have a formation where you can put both tight ends on zig routes, I really like that. I don't know if this playbook has anything like that. Let's see. We could do something maybe out of tight. We'll just come out in bench. We'll go versus cover 3. And so you have those 2 deep corner routes. You can also put X and B now on zig routes instead of those out routes, which I probably prefer the out routes this year. But you can do something like this. Just 2 zig routes. Wait till they get to the outside, pass lead that outside. They're going to get underneath the zones. All right, let's talk about maybe my favorite hot route in the game. We're talking about slant routes. Now, these are going to be great, especially versus man coverage. Especially if you motion them, they're going to whoop man coverage. One of my favorite route combos is a slant post combo or a slant crosser combo. And this plays a perfect example. We have the post to B. We're going to put RB on a slant, and we're actually going to motion him across the field, right? So if it's man coverage, he's going to get a great boost off the line. If it's zone, he usually gets underneath the zone coverage as well, and we're able to throw it underneath. So you see there, we wait for the user. This time looks like they kind of pick B. They're dropping back onto B. We can low pass that and throw it underneath the zone coverage to the slant for an easy completion. So let's take a look at the replay here. You see we watch these linebackers. They're kind of dropping back onto B, onto that post, right? So we come underneath. That's what the cool thing about the slant. It's not as deep as a post, not as deep as a crosser. It'll get underneath the zones at a pretty high rate. We're able to throw it in there for an easy completion. This time we might have man coverage, which is good, because now we're going to be able to motion over the slant into versus man coverage, and watch the separation it should get here against man coverage. You see, it's only Randall Cobb too, not the best receiver, but look at that separation he gets the whole time, right? You wait for him to kind of clear out, but he beats his initial defender easily, and that's exactly what you want out of these slant routes, right? They're going to do a great job versus man coverage. This time here, it's a man blitz. We're going to have Randall Cobb open on that slant. He gets that separation versus man coverage. That's what makes slants so good. Now, another setup I like to do is we add in that smoke screen like we talked about earlier to the left, and then put our slot receiver on a slant like this, right? So we can either check it down to the smoke screen if they drop back. If they play tight to X, we're going to wait, and we're going to have Randall Cobb coming behind him. So this time you see that little area we get in the space right there for Randall Cobb. Easy completion. That's why I love the slants. They are so effective every year in Madden, but I think this year they're really good. Looks like we might have man coverage here. We should have Randall Cobb whooping him. It's Harrison Smith too, but Randall Cobb obviously still whoops him. He's not even that good. You want your fast receivers out there at all times, but still gets the job done. All right, guys, finally, let's talk about the drag route. And the drag route in Madden is literally the best hot route. I think the slant might be better this year, but the drag is always the best because it's the easiest tool you can add in for easy completions, right? It goes with pretty much every single play in the game, whether you have deep corner routes, deep crossers, posts, whatever. You always want that underneath kind of check down route to go to for an easy completion. So in this case, we're going to play mesh spot out of the gun type formation, and we have dual drags. And dual drags are phenomenal versus every coverage. If they don't have hard flats out there, you can literally just check down to the drags all game long, right? If it's man coverage and you have fast receivers, they're going to beat the man coverage. If they're playing, cover 3 and they're backed off just a little bit, you're going to be able to destroy the defense just checking it down to drag. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what it looks like here. You see how they back off? Look at that. That's easy 5-6 yards. You want your completion percentage up? This is exactly what you do. You just check it down to the drag routes all day long. So take a look at it here. You see how all the defenders just kind of back off easily, and you just check it down. Look at this. Look at that. We have all that space. That's an easy 5-6 yard completion. If you throw 5-6 yard completions every play, you're going to be able to move the ball at ease. We also had Tunyon over there on that one. They do a great job, like I said, versus every coverage. This time, same thing. We have the drag to X. Look at that. 4-yard completion. Boom. Easy stuff. A lot of different ways you can set it up. I also like to play mesh post. We have the dual drags in that play as well. But you can add this into any literal play in the game, right? So, like for example, you can go to gun doubles. Let's go to 4 verticals. Keep it simple. I like to add in that comeback route we talked about over there on the left, and then put my tight end on a little drag, right? It's easy. Now we have a high-low read going to the left side to the drag or the comeback route. This time it's man coverage. We know the tight end drags are going to whoop man coverage. Obviously, Tunyon's not the fastest, but still gets the job done there. So you have that ability to beat man. You have the ability to check down. They drop back there again. We check it down to the drag. So you can create a lot of different flooding combos out of this. You add in the drag with another route, for example, like we talked about here with the comeback route. You could add a drag going to a corner route side. You could add a drag going to a post route underneath, like a high-low read. So like we could have Y on a slant here. Now we have pretty much a high-low. Actually, I prefer a smart routed in route. Now we have a high-low between Y and A, depending on where the defense goes. Now this time it's man coverage, so we're going to have Randall Cobb there. But if it was a zone, we decide, do they drop back onto Y or do they come underneath on A, and we make the right read. So it's all about adding these things in to create concepts and to make the right read. So this time, same thing. They're playing pretty hard underneath. That time, if we had the comeback on the left, it would have been perfect because we had the hard flat defender out there. So let me set that up because this is just a phenomenal setup with all hot routes now. Tight end on a drag, Y on a smart routed in route, and X on a comeback. And if it's zone, this is going to be phenomenal. Obviously, here it's man coverage again. We had Y wide open. We were trying to throw it. So literally with just hot routes, we're creating a phenomenal Madden concept here to beat pretty much every coverage in the game. This time it's zone. What do we have? We wait. We hit the comeback route. I was a little bit late with the read, but we're still able to get in there because you saw there they played pretty hard onto the tight end drag, so we're able to throw it to the comeback route. So this has been the ultimate guide to offensive hot routes. Like I said, if you guys have any questions at all about hot routes, let me know in the comments down below. Please give this video a like. It really helps me out so I can provide more content like this to help you guys improve as Madden players, and subscribe to the channel. Check out my ebooks and my coaching down below. I will see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all my exclusive content here on my YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the links in the description below if you want more cool stuff from your boy.